Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Hi. I had to put on my reaching hat. Hear me out. Hi. Thank you for clicking on the video. Today's case, I think, has a lot of similarities to the Casey Anthony case. This case, however, takes place in Sullivan County, Tennessee. It all started on February 18th, 2020. Police received a call about a 15-month-old Evelyn May BOSWELL. She hadn't been seen since December 2019. So the person who had originally called Child Protective Services was the baby's grandfather, Tommy BOSWELL Sr. Now, when the police got the call, they contacted the mother, Megan BOSWELL. They asked her where Evelyn was. She said that Evelyn was with her father, Ethan Perry, and that they were scheduled to meet the next day at a parking lot to exchange custody. That was a lie. Ethan was actually actively enlisted in the military, and he was stationed in Louisiana and did not have custody of baby Evelyn. So then the next day, on February 19th, an Amber Alert was issued for baby Evelyn. At this point, the baby had been missing for 3 months and nobody had reported it to police. So a woman by the name of Christy Broom, she knows Megan very well. She's Megan's best friend's mom. She had a crazy story to tell about what happened the day after the Amber Alert was issued. So Christy says that after the Amber Alert was issued, Megan, who was staying with her boyfriend, Hunter Wood, at the time, had nowhere to stay after that, and so she went and stayed with Christy. The weird thing, Christy said, was that Megan didn't appear to show any interest in actually finding Evelyn. In fact, she was more concerned with herself and whether or not she was going to get arrested. Megan kept saying, "I think I'm going to be arrested. I think I'm going to be arrested." According to Christy, Megan said it at least 5 times that day. And the reason why Christy said Megan was saying that, because she knew that the authorities were searching Megan's father's property. Christy says she then asked Megan, "Why would you say that?" And Megan said, quote, "I just feel like my mom would hurt Evelyn and put her on my dad's property." Remember that? Now, in that first search, the officers found evidence. And they contacted Megan and told her that they had found some evidence and they wanted her to come down to the station to talk about it. And Megan stalled, said she was tired and that she'd come back the next day. That night, Megan wet the bed. Megan basically woke up the next day after peeing the bed and didn't say anything about it, didn't even mention it. To me, that seems like a guilty pee. Now, if you look into Megan's childhood, you will see that she had a very, very chaotic childhood. Now, Megan's mother, Angela BOSWELL, she also had her first child at 16, the same year that Megan had Evelyn. In addition to the chaotic environment was an environment filled with violence. Court records show that when Megan was just 8 years old in March 2009, Tommy Sr. told police that Angela tried to stab him in the neck with a pen. While Angela was stabbing Tommy Sr. with the pen, she ended up fighting with Tommy Jr., who was trying to save his dad from the attack. 2 years after this incident, Tommy Sr. would find Angela in his home, in bed, with another man. The stories keep getting crazier. Listen to this. Okay, so Angela was in bed in her home with a man by the name of Brandon Yates. Angela was naked and she heard Tommy Sr.'s truck pull up and she heard Tommy Sr.'s voice yelling. When Brandon Yates opened the door, he saw Tommy Jr. was there too with, quote, "some type of wooden club." And Jr. told him to come outside. So Brandon said he went outside, and when he was halfway down the driveway, he saw a gray Chevy pickup with the words "Tommy's Paving" on the side coming towards him. He tried to outrun the car, but he couldn't. He ended up getting hit by the car, flipped over the hood, fell down. Then Tommy Sr., Jr., and a third unidentified man came out, surrounded him, and were kicking and punching him until he was able to break free and run to a neighbor's house for help. When cops called Tommy Sr., he said, quote, "The 3 of us did work him over," and he hung up. Tommy Sr., Tommy Jr. were arrested the next day. At this time, Tommy Jr. was 19 years old. A year later, though, Tommy and Angela would get back together. They wouldn't just get back together, they would have another baby together. This baby was called Elijah. It didn't take long for Tommy and Angela to get into another fight again, and they separated before Elijah was even 1 year old. During the time that this happened, Megan was 13 years old. So even though they were still divorced and broken up and back and forth, they had another child after Elijah, and that is Charlotte. By the time Charlotte was 2 years old, guess what? Tommy and Angela fighting again, break up again. Now it's early fall of 2018. Angela and Tommy are separated again, but Megan, their daughter, she is now pregnant at the age of 15. Police records show that at this time, Angela had custody of all the children, including Megan, and that she was routinely stopped by police for expired tags, and then they would find out her license was suspended. They would look into the car. The children were often unrestrained, not in the correct seats. Tommy was getting sick of it, so he filed for custody. And in those court documents, he said, Angela Boswell is currently in jail. She has stated that she is out for blood and she will get revenge on me when she is released from jail. I am in fear for myself and my children, Megan, Elijah, and Charlotte Boswell. She is using illegal drugs in front of our children. She is exposing our children to criminals. Tommy Sr. won his request and got custody of the children, and they were staying with him at the property, that same property that I mentioned earlier that had been searched. Now, records show that when Megan gave birth to baby Evelyn, Angela was locked up. And Angela would continue to have a string of arrests all the way through 2019 for shoplifting, driving offenses, the usual. In February 21st, 2020, investigators came out and said that they were looking for a gray BMW, which is in connection to the Amber Alert for missing baby Evelyn. Megan spoke with the media very briefly. She said that she knew who had baby Evelyn and that she was afraid to report it because she was afraid that they would run off with the baby and go missing. She said, quote, well, the reason I didn't report it or anything was I knew the person who had her and I didn't want them to run away with her. She would not identify who the person who had her was. And then the police come out again and they say they have found the vehicle, the gray BMW, and who do you think is in the gray BMW? Megan's mother, Angela, and her younger crackhead looking boyfriend, William McLeod. Baby Evelyn was not with them. That same night, Megan, who honestly at this point I think she was enjoying the attention, she did another interview and her story changed again. This time she throws her mom under the bus majorly. She says, quote, I told TBI, that's the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, I told TBI where to find her in Mendota. My mom took her to a campground in a silver camper, and if they don't go tonight, I'm going to go find her myself. Girl, please. My mom did threaten me, like, if I told anybody. I'm not going to get into that, but she did. At the end of this interview, the reporter asks Megan, do you want to address any rumors about your family? And she goes into this whole thing about gypsies. So apparently the Boswells are gypsies. So Megan says, quote, gypsies are not a cult. They have been asking people if there's like a gypsy ringleader, and we're not like ringleaders. We're not like out here kidnapping babies or anything like that. So the police went and searched. They fully investigated what she said, and they found out that she was lying again. So they arrested Megan for false reporting. The day after that, on the 26th, the sheriff's office held a press conference about Megan's arrest. In that press conference, the sheriff said that Megan continuously gave them false information. He said, quote, every time we talk to her, her story changes. I'm serious when I say that, every single time. Now remember, Angela's in jail. Megan has now been arrested and is in jail with her. They're at the same jail. And 4 days after Megan was arrested, Angela was released. So they were in the same jail together 4 days. Again, as you can see, Megan is following in Angela's footsteps. All right, so now it's March 6th, and the police announced that remains have been found of a 15-month-old baby with the same clothes on that Megan described her to be wearing when she last saw her. And these remains were found on Tommy Boswell's property, the same property that was searched the first time when Megan wet the bed. Yeah, they went and searched it again, and in the outhouse they found the remains of who they believed to be baby Evelyn, with her clothes, her toys, and diapers surrounding her. Now, right after the remains were found and right before the identity of the remains were confirmed officially, Angela, the grandmother, did an interview. In this interview, she claims that she thought Eve, as she called baby Evelyn, was actually in foster care, and that she had had a fight with Megan in September, and that was the last time she saw the baby. So Angela claims that she heard about this foster care thing at the end of December, and that's when she reached back out to Megan to try to help her basically get Evelyn back. Oh, and I forgot to mention, so police got a tip that baby Evelyn was seen weeks before she was reported missing with McLeod and Angela, the grandma, in that BMW in a KFC or something, and that Megan wasn't there with them. So they alone had the baby. The reporter told Angela about how Megan basically accused her of taking Evelyn and going to that campground in Mendota. And Angela was very loving and understanding and supportive of Megan. She said, "It hurt me, but that's still my child and I love her." Throughout the interview, Angela kept repeating how much she loves Megan, how that's still her daughter, how she supports her, and everything like that. It's March 9th, a few days after the remains have been found. They still haven't been identified, and Megan makes her first court appearance. Her bond was increased from $25,000 to $150,000 because she's now being seen as a danger to society. 2 days later, March 11th, 2020, the remains are positively identified to be of Evelyn Boswell. It was at this moment that the DA announced that the autopsy results would be sealed. Then, a week later, Angela, her and her boyfriend McLeod were in a Walmart with a grocery cart with $45 worth of merchandise when they decided to just walk out with it, and they were stopped by the loss prevention guy and arrested. Just a week later, after that, Angela's meth head ass gets locked up again. The reason why I said meth head ass is when she was arrested for breaking and entering and trying to steal, they found that she had a bag of meth on her and a counterfeit $50 bill. So she and a male accomplice, not William McLeod, it's another guy, they broke into her father's mobile home, and then they were seen exiting out of there trying to conceal some items. A neighbor even said that he saw Angela and she waved at him. The items that they stole include 2 televisions, a shotgun, a pistol, and various tools. So this is an ongoing case, and the latest is as follows. Megan had a hearing. It was over Zoom because of, the virus. And during that meeting, the prosecutor said they needed more time because they had to go over an insane amount of evidence. So that has been postponed. And then Angela had a hearing on May 14th in which her father testified and a bunch of other people testified, and they dropped some of the charges and then they replaced other charges. The latest that I've heard as of filming this video is that the prosecutor said that they're planning on indicting and pressing charges against Megan as soon as May 20th. So today is the 17th, so in about 3 days or so, we should be getting news that Megan is being charged for the murder of baby Evelyn. And now it's time to explore the theories. Hear me out. So usually by the time I'm done researching and doing everything and I come here to film the video, I generally have an idea of what I think happened. I don't feel that way in this case at all. Sometimes I think that Megan did it all by herself and then she got help with the cover-up. Then sometimes I think she did the whole thing by herself, including hiding Evelyn's body, and was like trying to throw her mother under the bus. And then other times I think that the mother was in on it, and then I wonder about the father, and then sometimes I'm like, oh no, the father had no idea, that's why he called. And then I'm like, well, did he actually know and he was calling to cover himself because he knew that the baby was in his property? I have no idea. The only thing that I know for sure is that Megan is lying. Megan knew because the peeing on herself incident. If you knew that Evelyn's body was in the outhouse and then you get a call from police after searching that exact property and they say, we found something, we want to talk to you, and then you try to stall, and then that very night you pee yourself because you're so freaking scared, you know that the body's there. That's what I think. Then there's the other theory about maybe the mom was all methed out with her boyfriend. The boyfriend did something, she did something. Maybe they didn't do anything, but they weren't paying attention to the baby. The baby hurt herself, and then they didn't want to get in trouble. And then it just got worse. And then before you know it, she's dead. And now they're trying to hide the evidence. I don't know. I'm spiraling. What do you guys think? Do you think Megan did this by herself? Do you think the mother's involved? What do you think the boyfriend's role is? Did the father play a role in it? I don't know. Anyway, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.